Yes.
Here they come. Welcome, everybody.
Hello,
You can go
everyone.
and put in the chat where you're from, and since we might not be able to see where other people, I will read as fast as I can, as fast as you all type. I'm in West Hartford, Connecticut. Mickey, you're in Tel Aviv,
I'm in
right?
Israel. Yeah, I'm in Tel Aviv, Israel.
Pittsburgh.
We have some
Vashon Island, outside of Seattle.
Ooh, yeah. Arkansas, UK, Minneapolis, the Villages in Florida, Sun Prairie, Wisconsin, Saskatchewan. I gotta.
Saskatchewan.
Thank you. Baton Rouge, South Carolina, San Francisco, Central Illinois, Manchester, New Hampshire, Alberta, sunny Scotland. She's always in sunny Scotland. Hello, Denver, Tennessee, Nebraska, England, Southampton, England, Massachusetts.
We have so many people joining us, so thank you. We will start in about 1 or 2 minutes after we get everyone like signing into the call. But in the meanwhile, you can definitely put your name and location in the chat, and we'll try to read it as fast as possible.
The Netherlands, Ohio, Hillenhead, Jerusalem, Nebraska, Alabama. It's an amazing world, isn't it, when we do this? Nova Scotia, again. Egypt.
Even from Egypt, wow.
South Africa, yeah, I'm looking for the ones that are really like, Denmark,
Saudi Arabia,
North Carolina, Canada, Georgia, Florida. I suppose you have these.
Snohomish, Washington. Yay. That's near me, kind of.
That's a neighbor.
Yeah.
We will kick off in about 1 minute. After we're gonna let
Manitoba.
join us.
Cumberland Center, Maine. My cousin, Doug Coyle, is from Cumberland, Maine. Maybe they know him.
This will be recorded, so we can watch it later. Yes.
Yes, the webinar will be recorded, and we will send an email post the webinar with a link to view the recording on YouTube. Okay.
Salt Lake City, probably the Olympic city in 2034.
Really? Wow. But it
Yeah.
was just there, no? A few years ago.
Yeah, we were there for you. You were just there. We were just there together for Roots Tech.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Beautiful city. Okay, so I guess that we can start for people who join us on time. So hi, everyone. And we're very happy to see you, and thank you for joining us. My name is Miki Atir, and I'm the CMO of PhotoMine, and you are in the webinar for 10 tips for managing digital photo chaos. And I'm thrilled to have you with us today. So on a personal note, I'm a big fan of photos, and my grandfather was a photographer. I've always had a passion for capturing and preserving old photo memories. And actually, in the last month or so, I've asked many of my friends and family to send me photos of myself from all their sources. So I asked them to go on to like Google Photos, for example, and type every photos that they found of Miki Atir. And then after they're capturing all the photos, they will send it to me. Then I was bombarded with thousands of photos of myself that now I need to organize. So I'm very happy that we decided to do this webinar. And I hope I will get more tips on how to organize it and how to work with that, because I have a lot of new photos of myself from early childhood that I need to organize right now. So I'm very excited about that. We'll be joined by the CEO of the photo manager, Cathi Nelson, and Jennifer, she'll introduce in a second. And before we dive into the webinar, I would like to take a moment to express our gratitude to Cathi. So this is our third webinar in this season, and it was amazing to get all the tips and knowledge from Cathi and use her expertise in helping the PhotoMine user to not only scan their photos, but also to preserve them in a way that they will be organized like in a great manner. So for those who may have missed our previous webinars, don't worry, you can revisit the insight and shared for today's webinar and also past webinars, and you can find it on our YouTube channels. There is a playlist of webinars, of all webinars that you can find there, and it's like very easy to like view them. And also, I know Mother's Day is just around the corner for the US, and the great celebration. And we do see every year there's a lot of people come back to PhotoMine to preserve their old like mother's photos. It's amazing. They love to share it. So specifically for that, we are having an Amazon sale for our accessories, which you can enjoy 25% off all our accessories. So I will put the link in the chat, and also in the emails post the webinar, there will be a link that you can find out how to redeem the code. All you have to do is log on, sorry, to your Amazon account and purchase the accessories, and on checkout, put 25 PhotoMine. You will get a discount for all our accessories. Looking ahead, we're eager to hear your thoughts on future webinar topics. So we're not going anywhere. Keep an eye for a survey that we will be sending out, and stay tuned for like any regular open Zoom session that we are planning to do, that you can ask questions about any topic about PhotoMine. But also in the survey, we will ask you about future topics that we can bring over to the PhotoMine community. So I spoke too much. So now let's make the most of our time together. You can ask all your questions in the chat section. So Cathi and myself will see all the questions and we can answer them if we know the answer. If not, we will keep it to Jennifer to answer, like after she finished the presentation. So go there and put your question there. We'd be happy to answer any question that you have. And without further ado, Cathi, the floor is yours. Thank you again, and good luck.
Thank you, Mickey. Thank you. It's a wonderful community. Welcome everybody from the PhotoMine community. My name is Cathi Nelson. I'm the CEO and founder of the Photo Managers. So we're an international association of professionals who help people actually manage all their photos, scan them, digitize them, curate them, turn them into photo books. And we have a really great community of experts. So when I knew this would be a hot topic, and I knew that I needed to ask a true expert besides myself. And so I invited Jennifer Loomis to share with you. Jennifer is a photographer. She's an educator and an author who is known as the pioneer of maternity photography after getting her start from referrals from Annie Leibovitz in 1994. For over 30 years, she's photographed celebrities, professional athletes, and high-profile individuals, and learned to protect her clients' images. She learned, because to collect them, she developed a system for organizing, curating, and archiving them and backing them up. So then she became, clients started asking her what to help them with their photos. So she started signature photo organizing. And she is a certified photo manager with the Photo Managers and also a certified Mylio expert. I'll drop in the chat a little bit where you can see some of her work, but I am going to turn it now over to Jennifer. Again, go ahead and put your questions in the chat and we will do our best I'll make notes. We can ask Jennifer, but I definitely want you to let Jennifer take it from here and take you through her 10 tips.
Great. Hi, everybody. I'm just going to give me a second. I'm going to share my screen and we're going to start our slideshow today. So thank you, Cathi, for that awesome introduction. I am here to think about like, what are 10 things? I want to make it quick and easy, because if you're like our clients, you have photos everywhere. You don't know where they are. I have a laptop here, an old laptop. I have a new laptop here. I have a phone. I have another phone. See, this comes with props. I have hard drives. How do we get our photos together? Okay, so this was all covered by Cathi. A little bit about signature photo organizing. We are photo organizers who are photographers. So how does that affect what we do? Photographers see images, have been editing images, know how to crop images, know how to enhance images, know how to lay out a page of images for story and for flow. Going back farther, I have a master's in photojournalism, which is all about storytelling. So I've been saving images, whether it's been negatives and slides back in the early 90s, late 80s, up to when we actually switched to digital. So you can find out more about that. So there is a handout that comes with this. So if you are a copious note taker, feel free to take some notes. If not, you can download the handout, which has all this images. Cathi has designed it. It's just beautiful. It's a little bit different organizing, but it gives you the same information. So I'm going to take this like you were coming to me as a friend. Okay, because as a client, every client has different needs, but like, what would I tell people? You're coming to me, you're like, oh my God, I can't find my images. And this is how it happened. I had a client, one of my best clients, she was freaking out, 4 kids. How do I find all these images? Jen, can you help me? This is back in 2018. And at first I was like, no, I don't want to do that. And then I realized she's nice. She's a really good client. I was like, all right, I can help you. I know how to do this. And this is before I met Cathi, who I adore, who's one of my BFFs. I just texted her this morning to tell her my mother-in-law is coming in town. Anyway, so I want to start you out with consolidation, okay? So what we want to start with is get all those images, every device you have them on, and put them on a table. Start with that, okay? Get all your images into one place, okay? I have recommended, what we now recommend to our clients, if you can see this, is something called a solid state drive. Please don't waste your money on anything other than a solid state drive. Hard drives have spinning wheels. Solid state drives are solid. There's no moving parts. You're a lot safer here with these drives than the old drives. And they're tiny. They're like a credit card size, right? Or a business card. So we want you to get 2 of these. We buy 1 or 2 terabytes, depending on our client. If they have 180,000 images, which we just onboarded a client with that, a 2 terabyte drive probably is okay. Lots of movies, probably not. So you want to, if you're wanting to take it up a notch, like we do, we have NAS servers, and you can also look at cloud services. Okay, this is the destination for your images. And we'll get to backup in a minute, because you will still want this, because I do believe you want to have a physical copy in your hands. Okay. Now, once you get everything consolidated, that's going to take however long it takes. You're going to be dragging and dropping things. A word about cloud services, be mindful of, and I think I have this as a pro tip coming up. I want you to be mindful of how to get your images off the cloud service. And we'll talk about that in a minute, because I want you to do some tests, because we have done a lot of tests with a lot of cloud services as our clients are all bringing those images on all the various ones, Google, Amazon, and I have some definite opinions about that. So organization. Okay, let's say you've got all your images together. I have always organized my images by folders by year. Okay, now that goes back to my photography, my photojournalism, whatever. Okay, so this is the baseline for you. Some people want it by year and then by month. Your metadata is going to have the month in there, but that's you know, however granular you want to go. But I do it by year. And then for my professional work, I do it by client last name. A lot of people will do it by event, or let's say you have, 2019 Italy with the Johnsons or whatever, right? So then all of those images go in there. I believe that this is the foundational structure. Before you start moving anything anywhere, I need you to think about it, right? We want to pause and think. We want to map it out. How are you going to find these images? How are your heirs going to find these images, right? This isn't just about you. You're creating your legacy. And eventually, this vault hard drive is going to be given to somebody, or the password is going to be given to somebody, okay? And this is important. So a pro tip here is there's a lot of software that can help you with this, all right? So we're going to get there. You're thinking, oh my God, I have to manually do this. No, it's starting to get really easy. File names are key. Again, we're not moving and jumping. We're thinking through this, okay? My structure for my professional business is last name, first name, underscore, year, month, day. That's important for me. What's important for you? Holiday underscore date, holiday, event underscore whatever. Now that's also going to be filed in the root directory of the year. Okay, so I want you to be thinking about this. Okay, we are becoming librarians, which means before we do a lot of work, we need to set out the map, the course. Okay. So I think one of the things you want to think about in your file names is searchability. On our analog side, our team, we have different namings for digital versus analog. So if, let's say, somebody brings me a bunch of albums and we're camera scanning those, we name those images, each page, so we can then cross-reference that and go back into the bin that it's in and find it, right? Digital is different. Okay, so you want to be thinking about what's the difference. And I know with PhotoMind, you guys are going to be scanning stuff. So maybe you want to say green album, 1984, page 6. But actually what I recommend you do is say page 6, 1984 green album, right? Because then you're going to be page 7, page 8, page 9. And then in the folder for 1984, you're going to have green album, right? Then if you have 6 bins of albums, you say page 6, 1984, green album, bin 1. Think about that. Because when you get into your software, you're going to say, and let's say, all right, let's say 1984 green album is San Francisco. That needs to go in the file name too. Page 6, 1984, San Francisco green album. Think about this. When you're in your software, which is like the card catalog at a library, these softwares are amazing. You're going to type in San Francisco. Then you're going to find it. So let's think about that as we're naming our file names, okay? So my pro tip here is I want you to think about digital versus analog names, okay? Because they're going to help you locate the images. We as organizers want our clients to be able to find the digital image, and if it was scanned from something, to say, oh, honey, let's go find that picture because I want to give it to Grandma Ruth, okay? Okay. Metadata, very robust metadata is now being added to all your images, at least now. We run into this a little bit when we scan analog files, so that's why we have such very concise file names for the analog. But your digital data is amazing. Your metadata in your digital photos is great. There are a few instances when you do a takeout from certain software, I'm not going to confuse you guys, where they wipe your data, and that's kind of a bummer. But just think about the metadata. It's there. And what's awesome is there's geotag locations, even on our cameras now. Okay, this is where I'm talking about the backups. Okay, I just saw a post on one of my photo groups. Sadly, she did not back up her photos on her laptop and she lost everything and she was trying to figure out who she could send it to. Okay, I photograph high profile celebs. I cannot lose a thing. Okay. And so for 30 years, I have had a meticulous backup system that you can too, and you should, because it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. So don't drop your phone in the lake when you're going out on the boat and be like, oh no, right? On our website, in fact, I have a very easy video that I did because I send it to all of our potential clients. Like, make sure your iPhone's backed up, right? Like, make sure, just do this. It's 2 minutes. So there is this sort of 3-2-1 methodology of backup, and we always think about that. So we have 3 copies of my professional work set on a bank of servers. You can see in this picture, you see where it says Photo Concierge. That's all of our client images. The top one, which you can't see in this NAS drive, is Jennifer Loomis photography. I keep them separate. I don't know, just because I want my professional work on one, and I'm also tracking expenses because it's not cheap. So we have a backup in 2 locations. So I have one in my studio, I have one in my office. They're 2 locations, right? Then I have a cloud backup, okay? And so that way, we've got, if anything, and then, yeah, and that way, if anything goes down, we live in earthquake zone. We have clients who live in, have been flooded, have had fires and things like that. So my pro tip here is do store 1 copy off-site. You can do something as simple as bring this little hard drive over to your brothers or your sisters and just put it in a box or something, and then put it in their junk drawer. Just make sure you date it, so you know when the last drive was. So for our clients, they get 2 of these. Once we back up their library, if that's what they want us to do to create their library, we give them 2 of these, okay? And and then we also store their images in their library on our servers for a period. We also offer extended storage if they would like that, just for us to do maintenance for them. Some people just want that extra security. So, and cloud backups are wonderful too. Okay, so now we've got everything consolidated. Now we've set up our backup system. You're figuring out your file names and things like that. We're going to start with decluttering, okay? You're going to end up with a bunch of duplicates. That's the nature of the game, right? Because everybody's been trying to back things up. But listen, don't feel bad. Nobody has been trained to do this. Librarians go to school for what they do, right? Not even photographers have been trained in this. This is so new, having to organize and manage all this digital data. It is not anyone's fault that nobody knows how to do this. Nobody. I hear from universities, I hear from small businesses, nobody knows what to do. Okay. So we like to, our structure is now, once we've got everything organized, or not organized, sorry, consolidated, let's use software. It's your best buddy. So there's a couple of declutter tools, that gets rid of duplicates and unwanted photos. We use Photo Sweeper, but there is one in a software that we recommend that's coming up. If you are this kind of person who's very, what's the word I'm looking for? Structured, you can take on a task, then I would say take 15 minutes every Friday or every day, even 5 minutes. Like I ride the ferry, right, to get to my place. When you're in the ferry line, I get rid of all those screenshots that I'm sending people or all those memes, right? We can do that and delete the blurry ones if you're that person. If not, guess what? There's software for that. It's amazing. I can tell you that I didn't used to be this way because I've been doing this so long. We decluttered and now we're in an organizing software. Okay. This is generic for any organizing software that you choose. Okay. And we'll get to the softwares in a minute. It's tag and label. Okay. And now we're also going to start getting into the zone of AI. All right. Artificial intelligence is really coming along fast. So we like to use tags and labels to categorize images based on things like people, events, holidays, vacations, and more. Our clients give us a list of their key events. Your key events, right? Our clients give us a list of their key people. Your key people. So for some of our clients who have 4 to 6 children, we will say, all right, Leo is green, Samantha is blue, so making as many tags as we can so the client can easily search and filter. As we all know, we need all these photos for stuff. My son is having a graduation ceremony in a couple months and they haven't told us yet, but I know that I need to start finding photos of him when he was young. And labels, okay, labels and tags, right? So you'll see the colored labels down here and then the tags. These all go in your software in the keywording area, and you'll get to that once we get to the software, once you choose a software. So my pro tip is write it down. It's super simple, but I tell my team, write it down somewhere. Why? 5 years from now, somebody's going to look at this and say, what does all this mean? It's a simple thing. You can write it on a sticky, you can print it out, you can tape it up. So as you're going through, you don't have to remember it. It's just a simple thing, okay? Yay, photo management software. Woohoo! This makes your life so easy, right? So easy. So for all my professional stuff, I use Lightroom, okay? And that's for my professional photography work. That's because only I need to see it, right? I don't share the Lightroom catalog, nor can I, across the internet with other people. So you need to evaluate these softwares and figure out what your needs are. Are you the only person looking at this? Are you going to share this with family members? Or are you going to send it to other people who live across, the water from you? Okay. If so, you might want a software that they can log in. After years of researching, we started out trying with Mylio with Lightroom for our clients. And then we had to move to something else. So Lightroom, I feel like somebody said it has a learning curve. It sort of does. But if you want professional management capability, you can. Apple Photos is another one that a lot of people use. We recommend Mylio, especially if you're needing to share with somebody who's not sitting right next to you, because then they can look at the photos and they can help identify people and stuff like that. And then this is where my pro tip is. Before you guys decide on a service or a cloud service, I want you to be sure that you try putting a couple images there and bringing them out. I say this because a lot of people I'm seeing these chats. Yeah, we are a Mac house. We work only in Mac, but Mylio is agnostic, so it can go on both. So we recommend you try what's called a takeout. We have experienced a lot of challenges with certain cloud services to get the images back out. And it ends up being an incredible time-consuming process. So without damning any software at the moment, I would just recommend you put them up and try to bring them down, okay? And then we can see. I saw a question about Shutterfly. I also recommend you read their terms of usage. A lot of these photo storage places, I don't think SmugMug does this. I just recently looked at their terms of usage. As a photographer, I look at terms of usage because I don't want anyone owning my photographs. I'm a professional photographer. A lot of these people are trying to take photographs and build a big database so eventually that they can do stock. So Shutterfly is one of those, and eventually if they own all that data, then, and they sell, who knows where it's going to go. Okay. And if you're a professional photographer, of course, your photos are going to be better than the person next door. Right. So I always tell people the fine print, especially when with photos, please read the fine print and see what's called their terms of usage. If they have all rights, then that's a little bad. I don't like that. I don't like that. So you want to make sure that, and the other thing with software, if it's proprietary, you want to make sure that you can get your images back. One of the things we like about Mylio is it's non-proprietary. So if we decide Mylio isn't the right software, we still have everything we've saved on our cloud or on our hard drive, and it can be brought into Lightroom or something else. So that's a pretty powerful, a pretty big gift, because some software is proprietary and you don't get it back without a lot of work. Okay. Creating albums and collections. I think that albums and collections. So this is where you start the deeper process of organizing, right? This is where you take your events and you start to pull them into different folders. All right. You can use your software. Okay. To do that. Again, I can't tell you how easy this software makes it versus me doing this 20 years ago, trying to figure it out. And lastly, and then we're going to get to questions. So I think I'm on time. So we have a lot of questions, is establish a routine. Okay. We have what we call an operations flow. And so what you've just witnessed is kind of a rough operations of our prioritizing of the order. Okay. So the routine is what's going to help you keep this up and keep managing everything. I recommend for clients and friends, you put something on your calendar on a day that's not too busy, and you can say, I'm going to organize my photos for an hour. So I think that is it. Yes. That was pretty quick because I see a lot of questions coming in. Anything off the top? Cathi, should I start?
Yeah. Oh, I mean, I've kind of time-stamped them and I can go back to some of these that,
Okay.
So hang on just a minute. Let me get back here and people go ahead and keep answering. We've tried to answer some of them. I know Mickey's been in there,
100%.
answering the ones that have to do with PhotoMine, specifically. So let's see, Lori asked a good question. Well, somebody asked, what hard drives do you recommend? That's a good question to start with.
The hard drives, the solid state drives we've been using with great success are the Samsung T7s. And after 30 years of using hard drives, I haven't had one of these fail yet. And I've tried all the other, other hard drives. And so we've been using these for about 3 years. They're going up in price. So if you find one for under $100, I would buy a few of them.
And then Lori asked, so let's see, Lori asked a question about, well, she was wondering, well, where do you store your folders on your computer? Where are those folders on your computer?
Okay, so my folders, so the current year, so for my professional business, I have 2 themes here. My professional business, I keep 2024 here on my laptop. Okay. Maybe I'll stop the share here. Yeah. I keep 2024 on my laptop and I keep 2024 on all of my NAS drives, and I have 25 years of work stored on 2 NAS drives, 2 locations, and I use a Synology backup because my stuff is Synology. For my photo organizing, okay, we have a lot, we are an all Mac house. We have a Mac Studio M2. We store our clients' photo library there, but then we have a whole bank of NAS drives called Photo Concierge.
Hey, Jennifer, just to back, since this as a consumer though, because I think she's just Lori herself, like where should she, I'm
Picture.
assuming.
Store it in the pictures folder. Yep,
Okay.
because your computer's set up that way. Sorry, that's great.
Yeah, just wanted to, because they probably NAS
Yeah, I
drives.
know, right? I'm sorry. Okay, yeah.
Nikki, do you have any questions quick that you want to, I don't want to jump ahead of you if you're asking, if you see something that you want to answer.
I wanted to give a note about like all the Google Photos questions, right? There was a
there's
lot,
a lot.
a lot of questions about.
So, okay,
So in PhotoMine, for example,
Yeah.
Yeah.
in PhotoMine, for example, you can export the photos that you scanned like into Google Photos. On my end, and my tip for that I use to split between the old photos, which are not a lot of them. Some households have a lot of photos, but the new photos in Google Photos have like 50,000 photos there. So it's a big mess, but it's all organized by geo, by date, by name, by faces. But the old photos, it takes more time to add the metadata and everything. So I would recommend for myself, like for example, to keep all the old photos, for example, on PhotoMine Cloud, which will give you one place that you can organize there and everything and make sure that you have all the right metadata there. And then after you finish organizing there, you can move it somewhere else, like in the 3-2-1 examples. But yeah, but I think Google Photos is a very good tool for organizing new photos. But for the old photos, if they don't have a timestamp and the geolocation, it will be very difficult to find them. They will just backdated to like 2024 or 2025, like when we reach there. Yeah, but in PhotoMine, you can easily export the photos and entire album onto Google Photos, which will keep it in a separate album. Once it's there, you can go like a frame by frame, picture by picture, and add the metadata there as well. So that's about the Google Photos.
Heather asked a question. Is there an easy way to save a bunch of photos with the same name? And so Heather, I'm not sure, you don't want them all to have the same name. So maybe you're wondering, is there a way to change them if they all have the same name? And they're crazy names here, like a lot of Google come. So I'm not really sure how you got a bunch of photos with the same name, but unless they're the same, unless they're duplicates that the computer doesn't recognize, you want to go in and change those names. Hopefully that answered that question. Let's see. And for PCs, do you know of a duplicate cleaner for PCs? Isn't it duplicate cleaner is the name of it, the one for Androids?
I can look it up. We know Photo Sweeper. I can look that up. It should come up. There's
yeah, so Photo Sweeper is for Mac.
Cleaner.
Yeah, duplicate cleaner.
Yeah,
is the one that you recommend. That is a PC, Android, and then Photo Sweeper is for Mac.
Yeah, and Mylio has declutter in it. It's not as robust as Photo Sweeper, but if the photos have the exact same name, they'll pop up.
So Steven says, I have years of photos and video files scattered all over, sometimes multiple copies on a disk. I still feel so overwhelmed. And any recommendations? I'll let you jump back in a minute, Jennifer, but I was going to say what Jennifer's first tip is, what we always say, even at the photo managers, because clients come to us with this is very common. So Steven and everybody else who has that problem, you are not alone. This is an internationally worldwide problem, which is why this is such a growing profession for professionals to help you get out of that mess, because it's not anything that you've done wrong. But really the first step is to gather them all into one place. Like Jennifer even said, bringing, even if you're bringing all those devices onto a table, so or start to make a list to get an Excel spreadsheet. In a minute, I can go look for, I think, a downloadable guide where and just start to list, where are they, And so you're saying them, how many disks do you have? They have them in Google Photos, you have them in Dropbox, you have them in, so you need to start to know where they are. Once you get them all into one place on those external hard drives, like Jen mentioned, then the process of doing the duplicate cleaners, cleaning it up, adding the metadata is going to be much easier. Would you say anything different to that, Jennifer?
No, but I think if you can just prepare yourself mentally, it's more of like a mental thing, because I know that this causes so much angst and fear and anxiety, but just know you're going to have duplicates, but just tell yourself it's okay. There's a software that's going to help me solve this. It's not a big deal. But one thing I want to help you guys do is, so that you're protected, okay, we do this in our studio, is you're going to consolidate all of them. And if you have specific questions, then you're going to have to seek some resources for that, but consolidate all of them, make a copy. Okay, this is how we do it. So we have a master folder that has everything, all the garbage, all the duplicates, everything. Okay, then you make a copy of that and you work from that copy. So if it all goes to, you know where, and you're like, oh my God, I've just deleted everything. Oh, well, no big deal. You still have the master copy, okay? Because you're still learning how to use all this and you want to make sure those are protected, okay? And just a word of kind of how we do it in our studio. My team, we don't delete anything. I don't care if it's the worst photo in the world. I do not delete anything. And that's a little different than some photo organizers who I've met who didn't come up through photography. We don't delete anything because in the world of photography, the mantra is, well, it used to be, I'm old, film is cheap. You aren't going to be back here again, right? You're not going to come back here. This could be the blurriest photo, but it could be the only photo you have of Aunt Ruth, right? Could be the only photo you have of Aunt Ruth. So, and for our clients, they're going to say, hey, where's the photo of Leo in the pumpkin suit? And maybe somebody in my team didn't pick that. And then we know we have it. So our structure is master, right? This is the photo organizing master. We duplicate that and we only work on that selection. Okay. Did that help?
There are a lot of questions, you know, and sometimes I have to tell people, I know I'm reading through all these and there is so many,
So overwhelming. I know.
You know, it's in 1 hour, you can't possibly fix this whole problem, but I think some of the basic, some of the basic best practices are important, that what we're, like Val Harvey, can you add metadata to scan photos? Absolutely, with PhotoMine, right? You have, it puts it right there. Mickey, you can just, right, if you're using PhotoMine, or if you're using another program, you can, whether it's a right click or whether you just, you're changing the file name. And that's what we mean by metadata. It's like writing on the back of a photograph.
Right. And somebody has a question here. What resolution do you store images? Highest resolution possible. Highest resolution possible. Okay. You can always make a copy of it and shrink it down and, crop it or whatever, but let's have your original image right there.
And I'm putting, it's Mylio is the photo organizing software program.
Mylio, I highly recommend Mylio. Yeah, we have on our website, we have an option if you want to try it. There's a link there.
Here's a good question from Kathleen. Do you ever throw away your original printed photos? Yeah, so I think I did the first class I did, we call it the ABCs of photo organizing. And so the A is you want to save your album worthy, archival worthy, your best photos. The B are the ones that you can't bring yourself to throw away because for whatever reason we have a hard time with that. Put them back in the box with a note that if you pass away and somebody inherits those, they can throw them away because nobody wants everybody's old photos. But C is yes, you can throw photos away. Blurries, doubles, poorly composed photos, all your scenery photos, most of your travel photos. Really what you want are the S photos. Do they tell a story? What we really care deeply about are the photos that tell a story. And that's what you want to make sure you're capturing. The whole reason why we're talking about this, right, is because I believe as humans, we're made to tell stories. And the way we tell our stories today is visually through photos and videos. And that's what you're thinking about. What is the story that you're saving? Not why you don't save all of those photos just for the sake of saving them.
And we also recommend our clients when we scan stuff, we start with the albums because somebody thoughtfully curated that. Because often when you are looking at all your piles of stuff in the closet or whatever, you'll have a box of albums and then you'll have a box of prints. And then often there's negatives. Like back in the 90s, people would pull the prints out from the little packet of negatives when it would be processed. Then you would take the prints and put them in the album. So we try to help them kind of think of the flow. And yes, Cathi, we're like, if it's a bunch of flowers, unless your aunt was like an amazing flower person and discovered a new type of rose, often you don't need that stuff, right? Save your time. Time is precious right now. Time is kind of the new black.
Oh, good. Francis said, once I received the top 10 tips, I purchased Mylio, took their half-hour session, and I'm well on my way.
Very good.
We also just, it's totally optional, not to be actually, we do have courses at the Photo Managers under the Photo Managers Academy, and we do have one called Dedupe Your Photo Collection with System using Mac and Windows. It's $49, or, or then one about how to use Photo Sweeper, also how to make photo books, all sorts of topics where you can go through these, a longer class, stop it, watch it again, stop it, go back and forth. So I just dropped that link in there. So let's see what other questions I'm trying to see. They're coming in so quickly.
We do have like more questions in the Q&A sections also. So
am I in the wrong section? Oh, I'm in the web chat. I was going to drop an email here with the Mylio.
Oh, okay.
And I think we give you, there's a discount. We're like an affiliate with Mylio because I'm sort of an evangelist because I struggled with Lightroom for a really long time for my clients. Where's the Q&A? Oh, here.
Oh, there's a question in here about Lightroom Classic. Which Lightroom do you recommend?
Well, I don't know. It depends on the use. Like for me, I use Classic, but I've been using Photoshop, Adobe products since the 90s. So, I don't know. It depends. There's Lightroom Cloud and Lightroom Classic. I like to control my images. Cloud, they have their images, but we use Classic in our studio. But I use it just for my professional photography images. I don't use it anymore for our photo organizing. It doesn't have the tools that we need. And I love Lightroom. My whole 30-year database of maternity photography is in Lightroom, the catalog.
Here's a good question for Vicky. What's the difference between saving all their photos on the iCloud compared to PhotoMine?
Oh, I believe that PhotoMine keeps all the photos with everything that you did inside the app. If you save it to your camera roll, so if you edit some metadata, it will be saved, but not everything. So, and I think iCloud is getting packed, over and over with all the new photos and all the new data that you have. So they will charge you for more storage and more storage. In PhotoMine, you have unlimited storage for all your old photos. So it's like a very easy way to keep it. Also, in PhotoMine, you can access the online portal, which means that everything you scan with PhotoMine will be mirrored to our web portal. And there you can actually use and enjoy all our features that we have inside the app on the big screen. So you can enhance the photos, color, like black and white photos, Sharpie, blurry photos, and then also add metadata and tags and everything. So you have an easy way to see the photos on the cloud, but also to edit them there. And of course, share it. I had one question that I wanted to answer here. So in PhotoMine, you can actually share the photos with an app called PhotoMine Share. So once you scan your photos, any time that you did that, you can generate a code inside PhotoMine. This code you can forward by message, WhatsApp, or email to your friends and family. They'll be directed to download an app for free, of course, and no need for any cloud or service or subscription. It's called PhotoMine Share. Once they pin in the code, they will be able to see every photos that you scan, and you'll continue to scan. So they'll be updated for every new photos that you guys scan. And there they can also add comments. So it's a new place for adding more details to the family, like old memories. Yes, that's about PhotoMine Share. Are there any other burning questions, Cathi, that you think that we can have?
Yeah, there's so much, the TechNat Burke asked question nowadays with easy access. I use my photos for memories and reminders and memes, and I do that too. And do we recommend it for separating photos with words on them, photos with computer hardware? There's so much amazing. I don't know one off the top of my head right now, but the technology is moving at such a rapid pace that there are, there is products being made. It's just hard to know. I always joke, you're not sitting around waiting to see who's developed the newest program for that. But
the AI is really robust too with facial recognition. Apple Photos has come a long way with that. That's huge. Time saver, because really what we're talking about is time, right, you guys? This takes a lot of time. So this is a really great arena for really calling in like PhotoMine and these other softwares that can just really cut down and save you hours of editing time.
I think Caroline asked about Dropbox. I personally find Dropbox really difficult to work within. They have not progressed very far with if you're trying to rename photos, move them around, add them. For my son's wedding, I gathered all the old photos and I want to create a video montage of him before, and I needed to organize those photos in daytime order, and I needed to curate just a handful of photos. And I started in Dropbox and I quickly threw it, gave up. So I don't think it's for storage, if it's just, again, as another backup, certainly Dropbox works well there.
Mickey, there's a question here I saw that I don't know if you answered. Can you add your digital photos to PhotoMine on your iPhone so you can use PhotoMine and the cloud to organize your older scanned photos?
You can definitely import photos onto PhotoMine. So when you open the camera screen, there is a small icon on the left corner that you can click, and then you can import from your camera roll. You can also, if you wish to do it in a more professional way, you can actually even take a digital camera and then shoot albums, in very high quality, and then, move it with an SD card to your phone and then import those into PhotoMine. The algorithm will works as like if you were to scan with the app. So meaning that if you took, with a digital camera, you took a snapshot of an album, which has 4 or 5 photos in each page, and then you move it to your phone and import into PhotoMine, the algorithm will also crop it. So, with nowadays phones that it's very high res cameras and everything, but if you want to become more professional in a way of scanning, you can definitely use a digital camera and snapshot with a very, high resolution camera. It's not mandatory, but it's definitely something that you can do.
And one thing, we have a sort of standard rule of thumb for camera scanning, and it's a 24 megapixel. And I'll tell you what, I just bought an iPhone. It's upgraded my phone. It's 24 megapixels. I'm like, holy cow. Right. And there is a question here that I think I can help answer called, what lighting do you recommend for scanning photos and what's the best way to scan? We set up sort of the similar thing to a copy stand. So you have, it's just the whole camera scanning technique. Negative Supply makes them, and they have 2 lights, and you can either put the lights so they face sort of a reflection. It depends on if your surface of your album is got spectral highlights, which means the plastic covering and stuff like that. The key is you want to have even lighting. Okay. And then you mount your camera up top, make sure it's parallel to the floor, to the table, or so you don't get any distortion, right? Parallel. Focal plane is parallel to what your subject matter is, and do some tests like that. Just make sure it's in a dark room and there's no windows, so there's no reflection.
Yeah, correct. And we also recommend, if you wish to scan without any accessories, you can do it next to a window, on a daylight, time, which will avoid all the direct light on the photos, which will prevent the glare. That's very easy, but we also sell accessories on our Amazon store, which you can buy like a shooting tent, which allows you to put the photos and then use the lighting, as Jennifer mentioned.
Oh yeah, shooting tents are great. Yeah, well, that's great.
Here's a question too about PhotoMine. Dan, does PhotoMine can you stream it to your smart TV?
No, we used to have this feature, but we didn't find it that successful. But you can definitely download the photos to your camera roll and then screen mirroring your photos to your camera, to your TV.
Right. And Jan said you have technical support for questions offline.
Yes, definitely. So we have support@photomine.com, and they'll be happy to assist you in any way. We have an FAQ page where you can find all the answers for your questions. There's a search tab there that you can search every topic. Also on our YouTube channels, we have past webinars when we explain how to use PhotoMine, and definitely I see there is a need for an additional webinars how to use PhotoMine, so we'll definitely do that as well. But our support can answer you very fast for any question that you have.
Awesome. It's awesome service.
Okay, I think we can wrap up. No?
I think we can solve everybody's all the problems, but I think hopefully we've, helped you with enough answers. I think, PhotoMine has great support. We also, the Photo Managers also has a YouTube channel, and we do regular webinars every month where we have different guest speakers. Those are all there. You can go back and watch them. And like I mentioned, we do have courses and things, and we have a newsletter where we send out tips all the time as well. Jennifer also, her information is on that download form. You have access to her information. And PhotoMine too is a great, is a great product. I've used PhotoMine today for a couple quick things that I needed as well. So thank you, Mickey. We're thrilled to be here with you. Thank you, everybody, for your patience and your time. Jennifer, great job. I knew I picked the
thank
right
you, Mickey. And we do recommend PhotoMine to our clients who wanted more DIY. I think it's a great resource for people wanting
Thank you
to
so
do
much, Jennifer and Cathi. It was, again, inspiring and very helpful for our users. We reach our capacity, like in terms of users who were able to join the Zoom meeting. So thank you so much for that. We will come back with more webinars and everything, but we wish you a great weekend. Happy Mother's Day.
Thank you.
Sunday, and have a great weekend.
Gather those, get those stories from your mom if she's still with you. Okay, take care, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye,
Thank you.
everybody. Have a good day.